Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the host of the 23rd Annual Tradition, Tom Caron.
Welcome to the 2024 Tradition, brought to you by the Sports Museum. Thank you so much for coming tonight. Here at the Tradition, we celebrate our championship legacy, the rich sports heritage of Boston. So, let's get the party started, though it looks like a lot of you got it started a little while ago. It is the Sports Museum's privilege tonight to honor 6 men and women for their accomplishments and their character. They are Brad Park of the Boston Bruins, Dee Brown of the Boston Celtics, Scott Hamilton, Olympic champion in figure skating, Dara Torres, Olympic champion in swimming, Terry Francona, the curse-busting manager of the Boston Red Sox, and Rob Gronkowski of the New England Patriots. Let's get right to it. Time for our first honoree of the night. One of the traditions I love most about the Tradition is that when we tell the honoree they're going to be part of this, we let them choose the person who will present the award, and then we make that person sing for his or her supper by joining us in the conversation. The list of presenters alone tonight would headline most events. Our first presenter tonight, one of the most iconic Boston Bruins ever, the main man in net for the legendary swashbuckling teams that owned this town in the 60s and 70s, one of the greatest money goalies in the history of the game. Please welcome two-time Stanley Cup champion, the man with the mask, Gerry Cheevers. Gerry is here to present the Hockey Legacy Award to his former teammate and good friend, Hall of Famer Brad Park. They cheer just as loud for that goal against the Sabres as they did back then.
Well, they should. I was the coach. I put them on the ice.
Less people, but nice.
A little more ruly crowd, no doubt about it. You were the captain of the Rangers, a great rivalry. You get that call in the morning to come down to talk. You've been traded to the Bruins. What was that like?
At 7:30 in the morning, they do not call you to discuss strategy. So the coach, Ron Stewart, called me and says, can you come into my room? Yeah. Hang the phone up, and I turned to my roommate, Steve Vickers, and I said, I just got traded. But the only problem was that the Stewie, he didn't tell me what room he's in. So now I call the front desk. I said, I need to know what room Ron Stewart's in. And the operator said, I can't give out that information, sir. I said, no, I'm Brad Park. I'm with the Rangers. You can check my room, my thing. I need to know what room Ron Stewart's in. I can't give out that information, sir. I said, listen, you son of a... You better tell me what room he's in, or I'm coming down. I'm going to choke you to death. He's in room 2132.
And that was his attitude. Right? That's Brad Park. You coached him later. You played with him when you came back to the Bruins. Tell us the Brad Park you knew. What made him such a presence, not just on the ice, but in the dressing room?
Well, Brad was as knowledgeable as any player I ever played with or against or coached. And I think I'm the only coach in history that when you have your pregame meeting, with the chalkboard, I had to hide the chalk so Brad couldn't get up there. And that's what his knowledge was. So one thing I can tell you about Brad when I played with him the first time, coming out of his end, no one, I don't care who you say, was a better passer, was more methodical coming out of his end that I played with or against. And secondly, he never got in the way of a hard shot. think about that as a goalie. Never got in the way. A hard hide one, forget about it. To my left.
You had the bigger pads.
Yeah, he always said, he said, your pads are bigger than mine. And I've never known to block a shot, and if it was accidental, believe me.
What was that little span when you and Bobby were on the same team? What was that like?
Those 10 games were incredible. Bobby and I had mutual respect. I mean, he's the best player I ever saw. And we had 3 guys up front. John Busick, who's here tonight. John Rattel and Wayne Cash was in front of the net. So you had 5 guys that nobody would ever panic with the puck, and every one of them could thread it under a stick, through skates, or whatever. And I think the power play was about 50%, which is unbelievable. And then Bobby went out, and that was like a, kind of a shock to us all. But it was a great 10 games.
You wind up becoming that guy, right? Bobby's gone, and now it's your team back there on the blue line. You start to mentor some of the young guys, Mike Milbury, who's here tonight, Ray Bork, who's coming tonight. What was that transition like for you? Because it really was kind of a transition period for the Bruins.
Well, it was an interesting thing because Don Cherry kind of changed my game. So as Bobby went out, Don came to me and he said, I need you to change your game. Yeah. He says, I want you to stop rushing the puck. Okay. Why? He says, because if you keep rushing the puck, by the time you're in the 3rd period, you're going to be exhausted. I said, why is that? He says, because I'm going to play you 40 minutes a game. I said, well, that makes sense.
Later, Cheesy, none of us knew what he was dealing with in the knees. You guys saw that in the dressing room. The work he had to do just to get on the ice some days.
Oh, yeah, and it's incredible that he played as long as he did, at the level he did. Brad was a great leader in that dressing room. And we got a couple of guys that you said, Mike's here, and Bruce Crowder's here, and, well, Chief, obviously. And they looked up to Brad. And they before they could really figure out what to do, they had to more or less get the okay from Brad that it was his thinking and too. He was a great guy to have as a coach that knew nothing.
Makes you a lot smarter, doesn't it?
First of all, I want to say one thing right now. I want to tell my wife that she is the reason that I played so well. Because she took... We have 5 kids, and she took care of them and made my life dealing in hockey and traveling so much easier. And she gave me because I didn't mention her at the Hall of Fame. I love you, honey.
What year were you inducted in the Hall of Fame?
88.
Yeah. 88? That's a long time in the doghouse.
I never had a crowd this big I could really talk to.
Brad did a little bit of everything, right? You talked about the passing, the ability to rush the puck if he had to, special teams. He was the complete package as a defenseman.
Well, he didn't block many shots. I mentioned that, didn't I? He could have been really the complete package if he got in front of a few shots. But, I played with other great defensemen, and he was so methodical and so aware of what he had to do to be the best player he could be. And he did it. Simple as that.
And Brad, finally, being here tonight, being honored like this, here where you raised your family, here in New England, what's it mean to you?
I was honored, and I take it to my heart, and I've got some of my kids here. I got my son Rob, who's in a wheelchair, and my son Kelly, my daughter Alexa, and my grandson's here. So it is Nico, Luca, love you guys, right? I'm just very happy to be here. Thank you.
We're happy to have you here. He can finally go sit with his wife, and now you finally gave her dues. Congratulations, Brad Park, the Hockey Legacy Award from the Sports Museum.
Thank you.
Coming up, the Sports Museum goes above the rim as former Celtics guard and 1991 NBA Slam Dunk champion Dee Brown is presented the Basketball Legacy Award. And stay with us as the Sports Museum recognizes former Red Sox manager Terry Francona and four-time Super Bowl champion Rob Gronkowski.